welcome to the Martin Luther Show. I'm Martin Luther, and didn't we have a great show tonight? It's going to be fantastic. 4 people from all throughout the Italian Renaissance. These people would include Donatello, who is going to be my first guest, Leonardo da Vinci, we have Henry VIII, and also Mr. Durer will be with us. Mr. Durer, very, very good friend of mine, from the North Renaissance. Anywho, to start off today, I thought we'd begin with, of course, as we always do, the Daily Bible Verse. Today's Daily Bible Verse comes to us from Ezekiel, chapter 44, verse 19. When they are to go out to the people in the outer court, they shall take off the garments in which they ministered, and leave them in the chambers of the sanctuary, putting on other garments, thus they will not transmit holiness to the people with their garments. That's one of the problems I have with the Catholic Church. They never wanted to transmit their holiness onto others. They kept all the holiness on their own garments. I'm sorry, I tend to rant. Our first guest, Donatello. Hi, Donatello. How are you?
Good, thanks.
That's great. Now, tell me a little bit about growing up, where you were born, all that good stuff.
I was born in Florence in 1383, and I was the son of Niccolo di Bettobardi. I studied and did excavations with Brachelli in Rome, and most of my work is made out of marble, wood, or stone, or bronze. And I created the shadow relief style of shading and making the statue appear deeper than it actually was.
Shadow relief, still very popular with sculptors today. So, as a sculptor, what were some of your most famous sculptures?
Probably one of my most famous would be the David, and I created that for the Medici family. St. Mark, St. George, St. Maria, and St. John, the Evangelist, were all pretty famous sculptures of mine.
So now David would be the depiction of a large naked man. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, you said you worked in Florence. Where else did you do some of your work?
I worked in Venice, and that was where I did the Equestrian Monument, which was probably one of the first since Roman times. The people there really liked me and wanted me to do a lot of work there, but I decided to return back to Florence because they didn't like my work as much there, and although it doesn't seem like that makes sense, it made me work harder and study more.
I see. Constructive criticism, valuable to any artist. Also, Venice, a very good city. I love it a lot. You were part of the early Italian Renaissance. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
That was basically just the start of the Italian Renaissance and the start of the change in Italy, in the area.
I see. So, you were then one of the first artists to begin the Renaissance style of art.
Correct.
It's very interesting. Next up, we have Albrecht Dürer on our show. Albrecht, hello, how are you?
Splendid.
That's good, good to hear. When were you born and where, Albrecht?
I was born in Nuremberg, Germany on May 21st, 1471.
Good year, 1471. Tell me a little bit about your family and growing up.
Growing up was exciting, I suppose. I was the second son and third child of 18 in my family.
Oh my God. I understand here that you actually, all 18 of you, managed to cram into 2 beds at night. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Dear Lord! That's amazing. All right. Now, I understand that you are an artist of sorts, yes?
Yes.
What did you do artistically?
I originally was supposed to be an apprentice of my father and learn the art of goldsmithing, but after he noticed what talent I had for drawing, he sent me to school to become an apprentice to get more involved in drawing and painting.
All right, all right. another guest on our show tonight is a painter as well. Now, while you were painting and drawing and all that good stuff, I understand you took a bit of a break. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. I did take a Wanderjahre, or a gap year, and it really was not just a year, it ended up being closer to 4, that I took some time to travel around Switzerland and Germany. So that was about a 4-year break that I took.
Everyone needs a little time off, you know, bit of a vacation. 4 years, hardly anything. Some of the things you've done.
I have several very famous paintings. One of my most famous pieces is the Praying Hands that I drew. It's not actually a painting, that one. And some other ones include Adam and Eve and the Nemesis.
The Nemesis?
Yes.
Also, Adam and Eve, good people. Good people. A bit testy. Tried the Lord. Didn't like it. Don't mess with the Lord. I think this would be a good time for another Bible verse, now that you brought up Adam and Eve. We'll try something from Genesis then. Stick with the mood. How about Genesis chapter 31, verse 4. So Jacob sent for Rachel and Leah to meet him where he was in the field with his flock. There he said to them, I have noticed that your father's attitude towards me is not as it was in the past, but the God of my father has been with me. You'll know well what effort I put into serving your father, yet your father cheated me and changed my wages time after time. God, however, did not let him do me any harm, thus proving God watches over you and makes sure you are paid the correct amount for your work.
Now, Martin.
Yes.
I noticed that you are reading the Catholic Parish edition of that Bible.
Which is ironic, I will agree. As you can see, it is the Catholic Parish edition. Can we get a close-up of that? Yes? Alright. You may have heard that I just wrote my award-winning novel, 95 Things That Are Wrong with the Catholic Church.
I read that, it was excellent.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, the basic plot of my novel is that there are 95 things that are wrong with the Catholic Church. One of them, however, is not their Bible. Big fan of their Bible. Has all the books in it, all the verses. Jesus appears a lot. He's a main character. So, you know, I don't really have an issue with their Bible per se, but it was mostly the things that they had done, such as, you know, selling things to get people to believe that they were going to heaven because of the things that they had bought.
I take it you're talking about the indulgences.
I am talking about indulgences. I didn't know if our viewing audience would know the term. The indulgences I have a problem with. As well as, you know, the corruption within the church. It was appalling. That's thesis statement number 73. I'm anti-corruption. But yes, I'm good with the Bibles. Great things, Bibles. Next guest, coming up after the break, is Leonardo da Vinci.